Live on set, this your boy Y-Dee, aka Serious Business for the Live. You know what I'm saying? This is the Back to the Source hip hop documentary. It's international, Africa, America, Europe, you know what I'm saying, Canada. Be on the lookout, we coming to you. Right about now, we in ATL right here with this legendary upcoming MC. Man. He's legendary because he's definitely gonna be, okay, upcoming right here in ATL. What's up, bro?
What's up, my guy?
How you been?
I'm good, man.
Yeah?
I can't complain, man.
So
Bless.
this is like Point Blank Pro introducing Back to the Back to the Source documentary, like I said. So you introduce yourself to the audience.
I'm Bud the Plug. B-U-D D-A-P-L-U-G. Bud the Plug.
Okay, you heard? So real quick, bring it back to where it all started for you.
Man, it all started in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah.
You know, I've been wanting to do music since I was like 6.
Yeah.
But I actually started recording at 14 and kind of got away from it because I wasn't as good as I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And then I started back about 18 and started perfecting my craft. Around 23, 24, started a label. Around about 3 years after that, stopped the label. Kept doing my music. Started back like 2015, and man, been running wide open ever since.
Okay, so the way hip hop is going today, after 40 plus years, what is your perception of hip hop?
Man, I think they're not letting enough real rappers in, man. I mean, people's not telling stories anymore. You know, the content's not the same. You know. It's just everybody flashing jewelry, you know, but what about the stories the stuff you had to go through before the jewelry and the money? And I think that's why I play a part in with my music, because I give you every aspect of my life.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to give, like, to compare the nature of hip hop today, what's really going on, and what was going on back then, which was like storytelling and telling the reality of what was really going on in the street and the community, especially the black community. Like, what do you have to say about that? It's 2019, it's 2020 today.
Right, times change. Yeah. Well, like you said, yeah, times has definitely changed, and the music has changed, but I think music is also gonna always be about lyrics. If people can't, you know, people want to relate, you know, and a lot of stuff, you know, that I hear, it's like, maybe it's because of my age or whatever, but it's really no structure to it like it used to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's not enough real guidance to the young rappers. And I think, you know, like I said, I think it's my duty as well to spread them, show them something different. And maybe they can take it and put it with their craft and make it more better.
If you look at the pioneers, who do you look up to?
Oh man, I look up to your T.I.'s. You know, T.I. always, and Yo Gotti, they always was like my biggest fans. I mean, I was the biggest fan of theirs. But coming up was Eazy-E, you know, folks that got it out the mud and started labels, you know, and that's exactly what I did. Got it out the mud, did everything I had to do. And so I look at guys like that. I look at people like Killer Mike as well, that give back to the communities. Because you can't do nothing if you ain't doing nothing for your community, you know. And I don't care how much money you make. If you're not giving back to your community and going back and showing them a better way and how to be independent instead of depending on somebody else, you're not doing nothing.
Great. What I wanted to ask you is this. Is the whole world, like, hip-hop is the only thing that we have in common. Wherever you go in the world, there's no country in the world where you're gonna go where hip-hop doesn't exist.
Right.
How do you look at African hip-hop comparing to European hip-hop with American hip-hop? Like, to you, what is the perfection? Do you listen to African hip-hop?
Yeah, well, when I listen to it, when I hear it, I listen to it, I tune in.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, man, first of all, the rhythm. The rhythm. It's like, you know, I'm from the South, and in Africa, it's, you know, that's where we get our roots from. It's a little different, but it's all kind of the same. It's like if the music don't grab you before the words, it's like, okay, you just got a song.
Yeah.
But it's like all all African music that I done heard, when it first come on, you wanna move. You got my attention. It keeps your attention.
You always keep your head
You
bobbing.
always keep your head bobbing.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get bored.
Yeah.
You know.
I hear you.
It keeps your attention, man.
Do you know a little bit about European hip hop? France, Belgium, Britain?
No.
No? You don't listen to them?
No. Never heard of it.
You should, man.
I mean, you learn something new every day.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely. Because I'll give you an example. When I go back home in Senegal, sometimes when I'm on the radio or on TV, you talk about it. You play some US hip hop, whether songs on the radio or video on TV. You always have some people coming out the blue asking you, yo, Y-Dee, you Senegalese, man. Why don't you just, focus on local hip hop instead of US or international hip hop? I'm like, I'm trying to go global.
Global, right.
You know what I'm saying? Hip hop to me is hip hop. No matter where it's come from, long as it sounds good and I can play it on my show, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you think about that kind of thinking?
I mean, I'm the type of guy, I'm always open. I never limit myself to nothing. And if it's something that, like I said, if I didn't never ran my mind and you put it on my mind, now I gotta go back and do my research.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So after this conversation, I gotta go do my research.
Right.
Because that's gonna only make me better. And then not just that, now that I'll be able to tap into different continents. Because I could see what they're listening to, what's their wave. Because I know the wave over here. So now they give me something different to tap into with my music and with my craft.
Okay. So 5 to 10 years from now, how do you see yourself?
Man, I see myself as, from 10 years from now, I feel like I'm gonna have a nice label with a couple of artists that's gonna make a lot of noise, because I'm not just an artist,
Oh, you also a producer?
No, I'm also a businessman.
Oh, okay.
I'm also a businessman. So,
that.
I'm also gonna take what I soak up on my journey and use it to help others in their life and help them at their craft. And I feel like I'm gonna be another Master P.
Okay. Life of the Plug is out. Like, what is the concept, the musical direction of the mixtape?
The concept is showing you that you're bigger than your situation. Because I started with just a dream and a couple of dollars in my pocket. But I always knew that I was bigger than my situation, where life had brought me. Because it took me to go through some things to build this person who you're talking to today. Because when I was 14, 15, and 23, I was not the same person that sit here today. So I had to go through some things. And I learned how to take all of that and put it into my music, to where it's a journey to where I started from here. I done fried chicken at Church's Chicken for $6.50 an hour and had to make it work. My mother lost the credibility to use her hands when I was 9, 10 years old. So I had to learn how to cook, clean. I had to go get a job. I had to learn how to be a man early. So I put all the things that used to stress me. Like I said, I learned how to be ducked from the 5 heartbeats, take out my pain and the stuff that stressed me out that I couldn't talk to people about. I learned to put it in my music.
Okay.
And every song, every title of that song that's on that album, it's a time in my life, something that I went through, either if it was good or bad. And the thing is showing that how I overcame my situation.
Okay. Well, from like a lot of rappers like to sync with politics to get their voice heard. Do you think hip hop and politics can go together?
Of course. Of course it can.
How you figure that?
I mean, because sometimes you got folks that don't really pay attention to politics. And, in politics, like, don't vote. But then you might hear your favorite rapper mention something that you didn't know and sleep on, and now he done woke you up. Now you go do your research, I do need to go vote. Or or maybe this do really involve me when I think it don't, or my word don't mean nothing. And then when you hear the people you look up to, and they already got your attention, so you hear them say certain things, you gonna go research. And now you done educated yourself on something you didn't know.
As an American rapper, if you would like to exchange a cultural something, I don't know exactly, like if you really would like to have a cultural exchange with other rappers from Africa or Europe or anywhere else, what would that be?
Man, that's a big question. Let me see,
Because if you look at most of the rappers around the world, they all know what's going on in in the U.S. hip hop.
Right.
But most of the U.S. hip hop, they don't pay attention to what's going on in Africa or Europe or China or Canada or whatever.
Right, and
it's like the complete opposite.
Right, and that's what we're sleeping on, because like I said again, we did that. Now we are able to tap into another market. Now we're able to educate ourselves instead of what we're limited to know or what we already been told. So, like I said, I feel that we learn another way of living, because most artists, they live through their craft. And if you tap into that music and you hearing different, because in Africa, I'm pretty sure, it's some of the same things that's going on over here, but I'm definitely for sure it's totally something different that's not going on over here, a way of living. You see what I'm saying? And if you never been, how would you know? You only gonna go by what they're putting in front of you and showing you. So if we start tapping into that music, now we start like people in Africa, they might look at Drake and tap into him so much they feel like they know him. They feel like they know what he's going through. If we tapped into them like that, now we got something different. Now we got something in common, because now I feel like I know you. I feel like I'm going through what you're going through.
Yeah, definitely. Because today with Google, with the internet, like, you can find out anything about anybody from anywhere.
Anywhere.
So it's good to do researches.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like I said, this is the Back to the Source documentary, but like I got two last questions. What do you want everybody to know about you that they don't know about?
I want them to know, man, that I'm a fighter. Just because a person say no and shut a door, we gonna open up another one. There's a will, there's a way.
That's great. So
I'm a small man with a big impact.
Yeah, great. That's smart. What is to you the most dangerous thing about this music industry? One word.
Oh man, they're turning us to addicts.
Say it again.
They're turning us into addicts. You got so many folks rapping about these drugs that they're not on, and you're getting this young generation caught up on it. This music is a weapon, man. So that's my biggest thing on that, man. It's like, you got people that getting paid off selling drugs that ain't selling drugs.
Stop running. Okay, so if you would like to give a message about back to the source. Back to the source meaning we calling all the rappers around the world to go back to the source in Africa and find out about who they are, what their grandfather, the ancestors has to go through for them to be who they are today. If you have a message as an artist, what would that be?
Well, just off of talking to you, I feel like, that you will get a piece of something that you've been missing, that you didn't know. Because like I said, after talking to you, I'm like, man, I got to tap in. I was blind to that. And to be open to it, because you never know, it's a journey. You never know what you might find and seek, because that's the only way you're going to truly know who you are. You got to know your roots, because they lie to us. It's a lot of lying going on. If you don't do your research, you're going to feed for the lie. So I feel like, I'm glad it's the source.
Back to the source.
Back to the source, you know what I'm saying? Because you just fed me, and I feel like, the more that gets spread and more people that's willing to listen, the more they're going to learn more than just the United States. You can learn about the European, the Africans, and stop limiting ourselves and open up to feed ourselves more.
I mean, good luck, man.
Man, thank
And
you
I
for
wish
your
the
blessings,
best.
man.
All right?
Yeah.
Keep it up, keep pushing. Best kept
to.
secret is coming. All right? Live, back to the source. This is Y-Dee, aka Serious Business. It's Point Blank Pro presenting the Back to the Source documentary. It's coming to you, okay? Hashtag Back to the Source 2019. We got next. Salute.